Yeah, and we're live. So first of all, I gotta apologize to everyone, if you care, for not putting up any of those videos in a while. I wanted to post a video after Lukaku came, and then the holidays came, and Lukaku didn't, and so yeah, so it's been a hot minute. Thank you for coming back on. And we got to address the biggest news coming out of Milano last night and today. Conte got his man, Inter got their man. We finally have Big Rom Lukaku, currently undergoing his medical visit. So we hope that everything gets wrapped up by the end of the day today, and we get the announcement soon. So that's super exciting. It's exciting on many fronts. The first, many fronts. The first is we finally seem to have a strategy where we support a manager on with their transfer requests. Not only have we seen, do we know that Antonio Conte is a world-class manager, but what we've seen from the preseason game so far, the team has an identity, and it seems clear that he's looking for a certain shape and a certain mode of play, and central to his requests has been Lukaku. So yeah, it's also exciting because we beat Juve, who tried to sabotage the transfer in the last week or so. Not only did we beat Juve and the entire Italian media machine. You know, Gazzetta had reported on its front page that the Dybala Lukaku swap had been done, and suddenly everything is dead in the water, and in comes Big Rom for Inter. So a second reason to get excited. The third reason why we're excited is apparently we handed it to United in terms of financial. Getting the better of this deal financially. I mean, look, I ascribe to David Amoyal's saying that transfer fees don't mean shit. They only mean something if the player flops or if the fee prevents you from buying someone else who's critical for the squad. But we know that the team had been more or less complete in Conte's vision. It was just getting the striker, and so why not go balls to the wall? And we did, and we got the player. The Marotta did, and he got the player for Conte. But the great news is, it seems that the deal is financially, like I said, favorable for Inter. Not only do we seem to be required to make the payment over 5 years or at the end of 5 years, I'm not quite sure, but the deal itself is a far shot from the 80 million pounds that United wanted. It seems like it's 65 million euros with 10 to 13 million euros of bonuses, 10 hard bonuses and 3 soft, something of the sorts. But anyway, the conclusion is Lukaku's here. The squad is almost complete. Whether Dzeko comes or not remains clearly an important part. Whether we get Vidal in the center of the midfield or not also remains to be seen. But at least we have the makings of the prime starting 11. So this brings us to the second point, and the real elephant in the room. Let me just see if I can sit a bit more comfortably here. Yeah, the other elephant in the room, which is Mauro Icardi. This guy. I mean, honestly, what can I say? I've spoken about it over and over all through the summer. But this guy, I've never seen anyone screw themselves out of an opportunity in a career the phrase "shot himself in the foot" doesn't even begin to describe what this guy's done to himself over the past 6 or 7 months. So what now? What happens to Icardi? You know, so I honestly don't see. Clearly the management is more than happy to let him rot on the bench, or not on the bench, rot in Appiano or at home in his deck in front overlooking the San Siro for 2 years to wait his contract out. I can't believe that he would be willing to do that to himself. So it seems clear that he's rejecting everything but Juve. Juve are now in a tight spot. That Lukaku deal seems to have really pulled the rug from under their feet. So they got to find some place for Dybala. Dybala, I mean, reports today seem to indicate that Dybala is open for a Tottenham move. I don't know if this is realistic or not, or if it's just the media talking. But if it's not Tottenham, then he's either going to PSG or coming to Inter with for a straight swap with Icardi. Now, would PSG be able to take Dybala on board without getting rid of Neymar? We don't know. Would Neymar actually go to Barcelona? We also don't know, because the Barcelona director came out yesterday, director of sport came out a couple of days ago and said, I don't know shit about Neymar. So it seems, within the realm of possibility to see Dybala and Icardi swapping. It makes a lot of sense for both teams. I don't know if Cristiano handpicked or approved the Icardi move as he allegedly had for the Lukaku one. I don't know, but yeah, we'll wait and see. My only problem with the Dybala entry into the squad, I mean, clearly it'd be great to have Dybala at Inter, but I don't know what this does for Lautaro. And currently, I'm definitely more bullish on, pardon the pun, I'm more bullish on El Toro over Dybala's prospects. And we know that Dybala's best position is second striker, not trequartista, not a winger, not anything. It's second striker, and that's why he'd probably be doing great again under Conte. But I think I'd rather, if I were to put my eggs in a basket, I'd rather that basket be that of Lautaro than Dybala at the moment. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, if the deal does happen and if the swap does materialize, it's definitely a good problem to be faced with. I'm going to talk about Lukaku himself later. I mean, I don't want to the deal hasn't officially been announced, and so we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Everyone knows what happened with Roma. If I'm still on. There we go. So, yeah, a friend of mine and I were talking yesterday about the betting odds for the Champions League. And I was surprised that Inter are their 13th most likely team. This is pre-Lukaku, the 13th most likely in terms of betting odds for a Champions League win. That's not bad, man. I'm excited about the season. I'm super pumped. So let's try and wrap this up so I don't take too much of your time. Wanted to address, this is a subject that is discussed by people who are on Twitter and analysts and podcasters and whatever ad nauseum, which is the overreactions left and right on in the digital world. And it's pretty wild to have seen over the last week or so, really frustrated, really angry Inter supporters at the apparent lack of movement on the transfer market. Especially when it seemed like that Lukaku deal was going to go Juventus' way. We had a pretty phenomenal mercato so far anyway. And while of course Lukaku and a striker for Conte would have, it would have been disastrous had they not brought in a striker for Conte. But of course they were going to get a striker for Conte. So whether it was Lukaku or otherwise, and then suddenly everyone's switching, and people were bashing Lukaku as a slow oaf or a tank or whatever when he was going to Juventus. Now, praising the gods of Suning for bringing him on board. It's crazy. It's crazy. I think we should always temper. We should always try. We should. No one should do anything. Everyone should do whatever the fuck they want. But I think that for for your own well-being and sanity, for one's own well-being and sanity, it might be better. It might be best to temper your reactions and anger or happiness or euphoria at any of this news. But we'll take the small wins when we get them. So welcome to the greatest club in the world, Romelu. I'm happy that you wanted Inter, you wanted to work with Conte, you wanted the black and blue. I'm happy to see that a lot of players this year have come to Inter by rejecting other, maybe bigger, maybe equal offers from other clubs. So it really puts Inter on the map, and brings me to my last point, which is an apology to all Interisti. I have to confess that I'm at fault for this decade of nothing. We had amazing memories of our of this decade anniversary of our last Champions League win earlier this summer. And I gotta tell you guys, this decade's been my fault. I remember praying the day, the night of the final, the semi-final against Barca, praying to the gods of football, saying that I gladly take a decade of nothing if we beat Barca, not even win the Champions League, because I knew that had we gone past Barca, the final would have been a foregone conclusion, as it was in the end anyway. So I'm sorry, but I also know that this season is going to be exciting. I don't know what Inter are going to win, but I feel it somewhere somehow that it's going to be good. There's going to be some silverware at the end of this season. So yeah, as always, Forza Inter. Everybody, enjoy the news, and let's see. Let's hope next week's episode is just as jovial. In the meantime, take care. Bye.